Hello! Just want to do an extended review on my Ibanez S 520EX. There's the serial numbers and stuff. This one's, the neck anyway is a 2005. I got the neck off a S series from eBay, and it had problems of its own. The body is a 2006. I got the body from Guitar Center right downtown Seattle. It had cracks here, pieces broken out. Both horns were smashed up. This has been dropped bad and split and kind of all mushed out. The back had lots of belt buckle rash. These are the original covers. I didn't fix them at all. I kind of want them to stay like that. It's for the kind of road worn look. But it was all marred quite back. It's quite badly in the back here. So I decided I was going to leave it like that. Just kind of salvage what I can. But decided to go to town on it. So I stripped it down, painted it black, epoxied all the broken up bits on the horns in the bottom, and glued this all back together. Ground this down, epoxied that, sanded all that down, and then bondoed the rest of it, put a coat of bondo on the damaged parts only, sanded that down, and then painted it all white. I can kind of see the white through the swirl a little bit, and luckily I put that there because the swirl didn't cover very well, but painted all white, swirled it. I mixed the water to borax, about 1%. Lots of things on the internet say, you know, 520 ounces into 475 liters and that's many pints and pounds or whatever. I don't know. It's just 1%. So I used 500 grams of borax in 50 liters of water, or half a kilogram of borax in 50 liters of water. That's what I used. So it's the easiest way to do it. I don't know where to start. So the neck, when I bought the guitar off eBay, the fellow was great, or gal, I'm not even sure who it was, warned me that the truss rod was broken, and it was truly broken, or sorry, stripped out. The Allen key was stripped. So I took the neck off, took it to the luthier in town, and he made a cut with a chop saw, or sorry, a Dremel, right in the top, in order to get a flat screwdriver on it. Got the flat screwdriver on it and went turn. Just literally seized and stripped out. So I kind of went nuts on it. Can't see it now because the locking nut's on. But below here I gutted all this out. This rosewood, it's just a wafer of rosewood, just a tiny bit. So I shouldn't really say gutted, I just removed that. And then ground it both sides to get a slot the screwdriver in there very well. Still didn't work, so I just took the screwdriver and smashed it in, and finally it split the nut open. The outer part of the nut released, and at that point in time I could turn it with a screwdriver. The neck was actually straight, so I just touched it up a bit, gave it a bit of a bump just to make sure I had tension on it, and that's it. I left it anyway. So far it's working great. I could adjust if I want. It moves freely now, so kind of got lucky there. It was kind of, the neck was garbage anyway, so I thought, what the heck, may as well go for it, and I did. Okay, where else? Okay, so it has single screw tuners on it, just basic tuners, but it's a locking nut, so you can have you can have a pair of pliers for that matter. You don't really need good tuners on it. So just a basic tuner to get them tightened up. And these are good anyway, they're all tight. I always mount my strings on my locking tremolos, the ball end this way. The reason is they're locked since you put them in. You don't have to turn the machine head a whole bunch of times. So you slip them through, bring the string down this end, cut it off. You should cut it off. So for these ones I would cut it there. Just past, only about 1 centimeter. If you're worried about it, cut it a bit longer, but that's where I do it and I have success. Stick it in, lock it, and then you just have to turn this a couple times, get it basically to the note, like, you know, for the E, get it to E, get them all tuned, all the strings tuned, then you can lock it down. And the book says to have these at halfway. I put them all the way out because the strings are only going to stretch from a new set of strings. So I try it like that and then start working it down. And eventually, I usually have to do the locking nuts, back these all out, and then tighten, put everything back in tune, and then lock it down again, and start working these back in again. But by then the strings are usually set, and that's about it, and it stays in tune really well. Speaking of staying in tune, it has the 0-point tremolo on it. This is one reason why I really like the S. The tremolo itself is worth the price of the guitar as far as I'm concerned. It's really good. Anyway, you may like it too much, but ball bearings in here, and adjustments are here. So you can adjust it with tension. It's just on 2 posts. It floats quite well. I don't see it, but I have my big E side quite high, little E side quite low. I didn't adjust this to any specs. I just lowered it until they buzzed and brought it back up until they don't, to get it as low as possible. That's kind of how I wanted it. So yeah, the 0-point in the back, I'm not going to show it here. You see it moving. So there's an extra set of springs in there, and once it gets to a certain spot, it stops. So you pull up or stretch the springs and it hits that bar, stops at 0. You bend, you dive bomb, bend down, the bar brings it back just to 0. So it has 1 point where it stops, and that's it. So it's not balanced, it's kind of double balanced on 2 sets of springs. And you can also, there's also a feature you can take that bar out, put fully floating, get rid of that bar, or you put it in, have it hit that 0-point every time. It's great. And then your tuners, just instead of a spring claw, you have this. So instead of using a Phillips screwdriver to tighten them up, you just adjust your dials. Just a nice feature to have. But it is pretty well done. Like, really impressed with the machine work of the tremolo system. It is quite heavy too. Like the body itself, with the tremolo out, is extremely light. You wouldn't believe how light the body is. It's like, feels like balsa wood. It's super light, but it is mahogany according to Ibanez. And then once you put the tremolo in, pickups in, bit of wiring, you get some weight to it. But it is balanced great. Like, you know, it's designed correctly. I really like it. You know, enough horn up front to keep the weight in the neck at a good balance point. So when I was dipping it, you can see the front, I have a lot of paint here, and it kind of got thin as it went down. On the back, some paint, but fairly thin the whole way through. I kind of like the back better than the front. I didn't watch swirl or dip videos. I always felt bad for the guys that get the nicest job in the back, and sure enough, that's what I got. But what I did is, when I went into the trash can with my bag in it, my 50-liter pail, I pushed forward into the paint, and I kind of collected too much here and left the back out. I should have gone more straight down, but I did try a couple times with a 2x4 and just stuff, just tests. But anyway, this is what I ended up with, and I kind of like it. It kind of looks like I don't know, after post-nuclear war scene or what, but just like a bunch of magma or something. I don't know, little bits of trees, or these are little oceans as they burn up. But I don't know, I kind of like it. Just a different color. I was gonna, of course, do black and red or black and gold or something like that. But then I had this blue. It's actually pinstriping paint. I got it from KMS Tools here in Canada. Any hot rod shop would have this pinstriping paint. It's what I found suggested on other swirl videos. And I had this blue because I was doing some bicycle parts, and so I decided blue and gold. Like, some colors don't have. I have tons of black guitars. Everything's black, so I just want to change it up a little bit. So, going up to the pickups, the first one is a wonderful Seymour Duncan JB pickup. As soon as you turn that thing on, the whole sound just gets so nice and full. It's really good. It's excellent pickup. In the bridge here, I have an old 1982 DiMarzio Super 2, I believe it's called. It was promoted by a fellow from Quiet Riot, Carlos. Can't remember his last name, but I should know it. I've searched it out anyway, and he's a great guitar player. But anyway, the guitars from Quiet Riot, when they had their big hits and stuff like that. And to make it work, it's a standard spacing on it. So when it went in, it was sitting towards the low E side. So to make it work, I tilted the low E side up towards the springs and used the screws, I don't know if the camera will pick this up, to get close to the high E. Otherwise the high E was very low volume and low E was loud. So it kind of captures both, but that's standard pickup. It definitely needs an F series, and these bridges are wider than Fenders even. So by about 2 mil, they seem to be a bit wider spacing than a Fender. So the Floyd Rose or F Fender spacing is what you want for a pickup, but this one means a lot to me. I've had it since, well, forever, since I was 12. So I want to put it in this guitar, and it's lots of treble. The reason why we had them in the day was the amps that we had were so terrible, they had no treble at all. They're just muffled mid-range. So you'd go buy these pickups, and all of a sudden, boom, you can just cut right through and just scream. This is awesome. But nowadays, good amplifiers, you can just adjust that out. You can use your treble, making these not as necessary, but if you want treble, here you go. Like, it'll just cut through anything, like, unbelievably. So combine them both together, beautiful round sound, cutting treble sound, and it has a great sound. I have my son plays later in the video to give a bit of a demonstration. So the body's a 2006 and the next 2005, but it worked out great. I have my other Ibanez S right here, and I took the best of both worlds and put them on that guitar. So it's all stock with you know, the parts that weren't damaged all went to that one. 24 frets. Let's go grab my sheet here. The switch is 5-way splitting, so luckily for me, I went to the Seymour Duncan site, and they're awesome. You get drawings like this, and you can use the 5-way switch to split the pickups. And it works great. I can't believe I never figured out this wiring in my lifetime. But the way they do it, it works fantastic. And then they also have stuff like, you know, wiring codes. So I found my DiMarzio wiring color codes to work with Seymour Duncan drawings and stuff like that. So that's an excellent site. I really appreciate that from Seymour Duncan. And I'll put a bunch of pictures on it from when I kind of went through the work on this guitar. To do the finish, just use polyurethane, which I used on one can of it. Has lasted me about 5 guitars, so let's use that. Of course, get your orange peel. So I stupidly used about 500 grit lightly, but it just wrecked it. So I had to reapply the polyurethane, and then went out to a shop, and just a tool shop, tool supply place, and they had 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 sandpaper. And that did it right away. It was, once I had the proper sandpaper, it worked great. Then it kind of got all hazy, but nice and smooth. And then I used Meguiar's compound with a high-speed drill and a buffer pad to get the gloss. It's still a bit ripply and rough, but I kind of wanted a bit of a texture to it. So that, I was really tired of sanding, so I just left it. I got the control knob, or switch, kind of ordered a couple new control knobs. See what I just had these around, so use them for now. I'll get another gold one too. I kind of like the gold. So I think that's about it. I did a lot of work to this guitar, but it's a good project. Still a bit more to do, but pretty much done. And it plays fantastic. I love the S series guitars. The tremolo, the neck is wicked, wizard. Neck 3-piece, 2 outside, 1 inside. Fantastic. And to boot, I maybe have $200 into this guitar, so I mean, it's fantastic. It takes a lot of work, and of course you have to buy a damaged or beat up one used and put some work into it, but another great project guitar for sure. I really like this one. Okay, hope you enjoyed my video. I'll try to put as much information on it as possible. Just hope to prevent you from making the same mistakes I did. You know, use the right sandpaper. Don't shove your guitar into the paint if you swirl one. What else? Get F-space pickups if you're going to buy them. Always get the wider one, just pretty much for any guitar now. And probably lots more stuff. Oh, truss rod. Don't be shy. Beat the shit out of that thing and it'll go. If not, sorry. But, I don't know. You just need to move it a little tiny bit, so once it frees up, you should be good. Okay, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll put a little playing demo on and some photos of this thing as it kind of went through its metamorphosis from a piece of junk to this usable S. Okay, have a great day. Thanks, bye. Oh, you name it. Feel like pipeline or...
Yeah.
You don't need that. Just as well. What's a real delicate song? Like, if you move that switch all the way back, it sounds real thin. Black Dog?